What is up, guys? Welcome back to the Verse Crypto channel, the most savage and degenerate crypto channel out there. My name's Khaos Kris, and I'll be your host today. Before I hop this video, smash that like button, hit the subscribe button, and turn on bell notifications so I keep you guys up to date with the latest, greatest news and information within the space. With that being said, let's hop right in this video. As always, I got another awesome video for all you degenerates today. Well, not video. Technically, it's live stream. Sorry, I'm still in video mode. But today, I'm going to start introducing a new live stream series. What I'm going to start doing is every single Thursday, we're going to have something called pDAI Thursday, where we're going to talk about pDAI, Atropa, and all your favorite PRC20 tokens on this exclusive live stream. So basically, we'll talk about any news that's going on with Atropa and pDAI. We'll also talk about other PRC20 tokens that are doing extremely well. And my goal is to continue this live stream every single Thursday for a year straight, and based on, as long as nothing comes up or whatnot. And I also want to bring on prominent community members within the community onto this live stream so that we can talk about cool altcoins or anything that's going on with Pulsechain. Because I know you guys love it when I talk about PRC20s. You guys love it when I get into the degen plays, when I talk about these different token copies. I do research. We dive into the meat and the cheese, just all that good stuff. So instead of me doing it like every other day, I'll probably go crazy. I just make it exclusively for a weekly live stream. And anything you need to know from pDAI related to any altcoin and Pulsechain, we'll do it on pDAI Thursday. So I'm pretty stoked about this. It's going to be a really good time. Now, that's just a little introduction. Let's get into what's going on with the market while everyone just gets in to this live stream. So basically, the Bitcoin ETF is essentially getting improved. So everything's going crazy right now because overall, the price of Bitcoin is actually skyrocketing up. So we had a little bit of a downturn, then we had a little bit of an upturn, then we came over here, and then I think we had a huge leg up right here and then a huge leg down because someone from I think it was like Cointelegraph, lied about the Bitcoin ETF got approved. Everybody went crazy, price goes up, and then turns out now Gary Gensler and I think the SEC, they're not going to actually try to go and prosecute them. So what does this mean for Bitcoin? Well, basically, you're going to start to see the preliminary stages of the bull market. And what I mean by preliminary stages, let's see if I can zoom out a little bit. It'll be easier if I can just zoom out here. Let's do the one day. So what do I mean by the preliminary stages? So right here was the bottom, and we're starting to slowly climb up into the next bull market. Now that we have some clarity and we had a few dips down, few runs up, few dips down, few runs up, we're going to start getting into this parabolic phase right here. So basically, we hit the bottom, and now we're going to come back up, and then we're going to have a little bit of a rise. And then as we get closer to the next build-up, we're going to have the next nice little blow-off top over here. So the reason why I say this is big is because now that Bitcoin's advancing, we're going to see Pulsechain do really well. We're going to see a lot of other blockchains that you're on, like whether it's Ethereum, Avalanche, or whatnot. And this is the time when you want to start looking at altcoins, because altcoins aren't going to move right away, but they're going to start moving soon. And we'll have Bitcoin and Ethereum. They'll probably go up in price first. And then after that, as the price of that goes up, people are going to throw their money into other altcoins. So speaking of altcoins, let's check out crypto bubbles. We're on the 100-hour chart. So we got Hex sitting at about 5.5%. Hex actually had a nice little climb up. It looks like it's having some signs of life, dude. It was literally at 0.00287, and now it's getting up to about, man, it's basically almost 2x in price. The other thing I saw, I swear, I thought I just saw Pulse up here. I don't know why I removed it. So let's see if it's in the top 200. Yeah, there it is. So Pulse is doing pretty well as well. I believe we're starting to like hit a bottom. The bottom was right here at 0.00361, and now we're getting at 0.00434. Now, the one thing I want to mention about Pulse is because the SEC is backing off of crypto right now. What I mean by backing off, they basically said that they're not going to appeal for the Ripple XRP lawsuit. They're not going to stop, the Bitcoin ETF. there's a good chance that we might get some good news behind Pulsechain, because it seems like the SEC is taking the foot off the gas pedal, because it's not popular to go after anything crypto related that's benevolent. Pulsechain is benevolent. If it was malevolent, they should absolutely go after it. If it's a really bad thing, I would definitely throw down the regulatory hammer. In this case, Pulsechain did nothing wrong. It's a huge nothing burger, and we might get some good news. Now, let me bounce back to the top 100. Let's see what else is going on. Obviously, pretty good. What is that? Bitcoin SV. Not really sure what that is. Near protocol. This might be a really great Ethereum replacement. So, really, really good stuff. So, let's see if we got any questions before we get into my next bit. Cool. Michael Fleming, thank you for your good service to the Pulsechain community. Shout out to you, brother. It's awesome to have you on the live stream, so good stuff. Shout out to Viber Finance. What is up, man? Good to see Adam, guys. Check him out. Cody Cameron, Khaos Kris Crypto. Let's I want to put, let's keep it as Khaos Kris, and then let's make sure it's crypto with a C. Oh man, what's up? Good to see you, Cody. I stub my crypto Bitcoin EF by mid-November. Awesome, Duke. Cheers, everybody. Awesome. So, good stuff. Good stuff. All right. Now, so basically, what we're going to be talking about in this live stream is we had a lot of news going on, and I've been taking a little bit of a break. And as I said in the beginning, I'm going to do pDAI Thursday. I'm going to bring on people like Adam, or I'm just going to talk about PRC20s, and it's going to be a continuing stream going on, so we can cover anything PRC20 related. When I started doing live streams every couple of days, I kind of went a little crazy there, because it was a lot of information, but it was too repetitive. And if it's on this like nice little cycle, a week cycle, it'll be good. And then in between, I'm going to do, live streams with other people or live streams on important projects. So I absolutely love this new format. Now, on top of that, we actually been launching new videos on really cool projects. And I want to show you this one video that I'm actually really surprised it did so well. So, will pDAI peg to $1 on Pulsechain? Dude, this thing got 1.6K views in 4 days and 313 likes. So I want to say thank you to every single one of you guys. This video did an absolute smash. A lot of the Hex Maxis were absolutely pissed, which is awesome. And we got so much love, so much support in the chat. You guys are really, really great. So I'm gonna start doing some more of these videos. We got a studio and stuff where we can like talk about this stuff and dive into a lot of this stuff. If you guys want me to do another video, we need to get 500 likes on this video, and I will do an Atropa ecosystem video talking exclusively about the Atropa ecosystem, all the stuff you need to know about. And the best part about it is you can package it up, send it to your mom, your grandma, your family members, your friend, and I'll explain it to them just so that you don't have to explain it and it's easy to understand. So like I said, guys, thank you so much, and consider subscribing, because if you guys do, then I'll definitely put out another video. Now, let's get into the good stuff, the stuff that you guys are probably here to talk about. What did we miss since the last live stream? Last live stream, I talked about a developer. I'm not going to say his name, but you guys can go watch it. Now, on top of that, we had something very interesting happen with a Maria wallet. And apparently there's a chat. It was like a chat log, or like a little chat component, where you can actually go in and chat directly with supposedly the developer. So I'm going to talk a little bit about this story. And what's really interesting about this story is a lot of people start going in and asking questions about all the tokens, what's going on, the meat and the cheese. And there's some really good information. There's some very poor information. So it's like this weird, the best way to put it is there is some useful stuff, and then there's also some interesting, concerning stuff. So we'll go into it overall. But essentially, we had first contact with the Atropa Developer Maria, and we're going to talk a little bit about the connection today. And then we're also going to get into what some of these tokens means. And at the end of this live stream, I'm going to jump into a little bit more on other Pulsechain altcoins. So it's going to be a really fun live stream, and I'll just kick right down to it. So to start off, let's just take a look at the price of pDAI. So price of pDAI sitting at 0.00854. We're having a little bit of a level coming back up. So overall, it's not too bad. And we're starting to climb up a little bit more. In my opinion, what I think is going on with pDAI is it's just trading sideways, and it seems like the developer and or slash Maria is waiting for something big to happen. The two big events that come across my mind is November 28th with the SEC lawsuit, and also the Fetch Oracle launch through Liquid Loans. And so one of these two events will probably trigger us to go to the upside, not financial advice. But in my opinion, it makes sense for it to start trading sideways like this because I feel like it's testing some interesting levels. Now, the reason why I'm saying this is a good thing, because if you look at pDAI and then we come over here to the tsfi chart, the tsfi chart has just been trading sideways. It's been going down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. And now it's going up, and I guarantee you this is probably going to go down sometime in the future. So it's probably... I wonder if I can do little stick figures here. So it's probably going to like come up this way, and then it might do like if it follows the historic trend, and then it might do like a little historic trend coming down over here. So basically, so why is tsfi so important? Because there's probably some sort of price stabilization mechanism between the liquidity pool where it basically maintains its price value and somehow has pDAI trading sideways. And the reason why I can say that is because if you look at what tsfi is doing, there's thick liquidity pools between it, Atropa, and other altcoins, and it's been trading sideways. But if you come over here to I think it was like Atropa. Oh wait, I'm sorry, I have the next tab. If you come over here to Atropa, there's a high price correlation behind pDAI. And so that's why I think something's being tested out, and then something big is about to come down the road. Now, the next thing, Teddy Bear came back, baby. Holy smokes, dude. This is actually big. I'm going to tell you why. So, long story short, Beers drew a trend line right here. And he had a trend line that he drew way back. And he said, okay, so if we get 5 touches and then a breakout, this thing could run, and it could be a like a false top. So, coming down, we got 1, like 2, 3, 4. And then right when the price came in for that 5th touch, it's actually starting to break out. So apparently this might be I think the term is a false bottom or something, which means that we might see a trend reversal coming into the future. So a lot of people are excited. And I mean, honestly, like if you look at some of these coins right now, a lot of these coins are starting to pop. Like, actually, no, I don't want to go over that coin. So like another Com one is down. So we're starting to see a little bit of revival of the pDAI Atropa ecosystem. So this is really, really exciting stuff. So cool. So yeah, that's a little bit on the price measures and mechanics. Now, before I get into, the Maria stuff, let's see if we got any questions, because holy cow, all right, we got a lot of questions going on here. All right. Coexistence. What's up, big dog? Shout out to Coexistence. Steven. Check him out over his YouTube channel. Really good dude. Covers a lot of great stuff. Tank. Cody's out of line for that one. Tank, glad I'm able to catch another banger. Yeah, it's good to see you, Tank. Tank, really big guy in the PLUSD chat. Check him out. Awesome dude. Crypto Dave. Hex Maxis are pissed. Laugh out loud. Cody, that was a great video the other day. The production quality was amazing. Awesome. Thanks, Cody. It really means a lot, man. Steven, I'm in the process of reading the whole chat log. It's long. Maria is very cryptic. Yeah. We'll jump into like what Maria's talking about in a second. I'll probably do a couple pDAI Thursdays just covering the chat log, but I'm gonna give you guys the meat and the cheese, give you my thoughts on Maria, and then we'll get a little bit more into it. So I'll talk about it in a minute. Ultra Hyper, sup Atropa fan, we pumping right now. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I think that's it. All right, cool. All right, so we covered all that. So let's talk about what's going on with this Maria stuff. Now, if I do a quick screen share over here, so New2, he's one of the big, I'll call him the Atropa researcher. Him and 900 Capital are like kind of like the top dogs, and then the guys below them, you got like Huddlenomics, Zach, like Jimmy. So there's a lot of guys that kind of get into it. So what New2 did was he put out a video talking about what was going on with the Atropa dev and whatnot. And so long story short, after we found the entire GitHub, the GitHub code for the Atropa, God, guys, sorry, I can't talk. So after we found the Atropa coding on GitHub, basically we started going through investigating it. Some people were actually looking at the code, trying to see what's in it, try to understand what's going on. Next thing you know, you come down here to the bottom under, there's like a readme, and it says come to ricdbn.org hashtag Atropa if you want to chat. Ooh, mysterious. And so basically, if you go into this chat, and I think you have to have some sort of VPN or whatnot. I'm not going to try to get into it, but you can go onto this website, and I think you have to have a VPN. And when you get in there, you can actually talk to this developer named Atropa. And it's something new to outlined in his video. Now, how do we know this is the Atropa developer? So New2 goes into his video and he talks about how, I think it was, I don't remember which token it was, but he was able to verify that the 414 wallet address was able to send a certain amount of a token to a burn wallet address, and you guys can watch the video. But essentially what this means is, you know, there might be a connection between 414 and the Maria wallet address. Now, why is this so big? This is big because now we're talking directly to the person who supposedly created this code. We're going to the horse's mouth. We're going to the mastermind behind the Atropa ecosystem. So since then, we have seen a buildup of a massive amount of chat logs, and I'll show you guys one of the most prominent ones. So here's a really cool one between New2, and then it's called Marie Rahil. So New2 said, wait, you're saying Atropa will essentially guarantee a minimum price floor for buyers by controlling liquid token supply even. And then Maria's like, have you noticed the top liquidity position held for the token pDAI? And then Maria comes down and says, and the positions held by the address 0x dead. So and then come down here, Maria says, I expect the pDAI balance and liquidity to drop significantly as pDAI goes to $1, but we will see. So basically, you're seeing this chat log being built out between Maria and the community. Maria's answering questions. A lot of people are having fun. So the question, you know, I think most are asking is this Maria person really connected to the developer? So I got some thoughts on this, and this is just my opinion. You guys can take it or leave it, but based on what I've been seeing, I've been reading these chatbots, and I've been nervous to really talk about it because we talked about one person who had their name all over the code that was like kind of like a PhD professor. And then now we have this person under the name Maria, which I'm pretty sure it's an alias, come in, put up this folder, and start talking. In my opinion, I don't know. I'm not sure if you can like upload onto that file since GitHub is open source or whatnot. But for me, it seems a little too easy. But then again, we've been doing this research for so long, and there's a lot of difficult things we had to go through to look at. So my overall thoughts when it comes to looking at what Maria, this whole thing, talking with Maria, I would say proceed with caution because we still don't understand what's going on, and there's going to be more information to come out down the road. But there's some interesting points that you can take from these conversations, these chat logs, and learn from it, because after going through all these chat logs, there's a lot of cryptic things, but also there's some information that I found that's actually extremely useful, which we're going to talk about today in this live stream. And I got a bunch of screenshots and think you guys would really, really enjoy it. So my overall thoughts is just proceed with caution and keep your mind open, but don't think this is the end all be all, because I guarantee you something else is going to come down the road. And I'm not funding pDAI, I'm not funding Atropa or whatnot, but with this entire investigation and all the work we put into getting into this stuff, there's always been a curveball. So I kind of got my guard up or whatnot, but I will talk about some of the stuff and let you guys know overall what I think. Now, moving on, just talking about some of the tokens gameplay. So this was from Passport Powell. He came in and put in some really good summary points that we got from the chat with Maria that I think this would be really great. So on renouncing token contracts, Maria confirms that removing minting functions builds trust by preventing future dilution from the developer minting more tokens. She states that the that currently only the Treasury bill contract still has a active mint function. All the other contracts were renounced. So this was from about a week and a half ago. Now, there was actually a token that did have a mint function at launch, and this was not true. And this is one of the examples where I see this, and we see another token from the forum for wallet address, and we had a bunch of tokens mint. So this is an example where, you know, there's some discrepancies in it. But like I said, there is some value you can get from here. So, okay, so on the next growth phase, Maria sees the current period after launch on selling out period to observe where interest and engagement develops organically. She's watching for stability, steady growth in the next phase rather than hype. For investing, she recommends tsfi for short-term gains, but Teddy Bear for larger investments based on liquidities and holder distributions. Now, this is the other thing. I agree with that. We just did a chart talking about tsfi. It's going up and down, up and down. Let's see. Do I still have it up here? All right, here, let's put it up here. So I do agree with Maria on tsfi. tsfi is a phenomenal token to get into. We did not see massive price downside after we saw pDAI have a little bit of a dip. It's been trading sideways. So that's actually an extremely good point. On top of that, Teddy Bear. Teddy Bear, I'm not sure. Well, I think it's a great meme coin play. It's like kind of a meme coin steroids because of the liquidity pool. So it's tied to a lot of tokens. So this thing could actually drive in and bring in a lot of money. So I do think it is a great play. But as for a long-term play, in my opinion, I think the best long-term play is going to be pDAI and Atropa. Just overall, my thoughts and opinions. So you see what I'm getting at here. There is one piece of information that was not true, but then the next piece of information I do agree with, and I think it is true. So we'll just keep going on. So on apps and UI, Maria is interested in mockups for presenting ecosystem data like tokens and liquidity pools in a clean, intuitive UI. She wants to enable easy investing for new users at a $5 to $20 levels, allow easy swapping and education on investment options. On the YouTube playlist, the playlist of 200 videos is aesthetic and not directly connected to 200 tokens or other literal meaning. On pDAI repegging, Maria sees pDAI repegging to $1 resolving as the SEC case concludes positively. Now, this is a big one I want to talk about because she does bring up a great point. This is something we've been talking about. If the SEC lawsuit concludes positively, we're going to see a huge inflow of money into the Pulsechain. And in my opinion, if Maria does have, if this is the Maria, the main developer of Atropa that we're talking to, it does make sense that she would sit back, or he, or I'll just say she, but regardless, it could be an alias, but it would make sense if she would sit back and wait to, you know, really roll this project out, because if you roll it out right now and it goes up too quickly, people are going to sell, they're going to take profits, and there's a good chance that we'll see a collapse in a lot of these tokens and liquidity pools. So that definitely does make sense. Now, this is where things get interesting because she says different teams behind PUSDC and PUSDT need to coordinate with pDAI managing the peg. This is where I have questions, because it seems like what she's saying is there's a pDAI team, a PUSDC team, and a PUSDT team. And I don't know how that works because I'm pretty sure USDC and USDT doesn't have a peg, but yeah, I digress. All right, so token minting powers. The ecosystem covers different trust models between renounced tokens and mintable tokens of private options. Concerns were raised around investors' hesitation with unchecked minting. Okay, so I'm not sure what that means, but I have a feeling the reason why Maria's doing what Maria's doing is she's like basically trying to look at like, hey, so what tokens work, what tokens don't work. I'm not really sure, but you know, I just don't know about the token selection. It's very hard to read. Now, on Bullion 5 and 8, these two tokens should trade equally 1-to-8 ratio based on their mechanics, but currently have arbitrage opportunity. So, I don't know what this means. Maybe this is going to be some sort of, God, I don't know. Maybe it'll be some sort of bond just to like keep adding value and maintain the amount of pDAI in circulation. That's probably the only thing I could really think of. So So okay, cool. So that's about it for this main spiel. Let me go over to questions, but basically the point I'm trying to get across is we saw that screenshot from Passport Pal. We saw some things that were not so true, and I'll show you the CIA thing in a minute. And we saw some things that do make sense. So that's why I'm in the middle of this, and there is a debate on whether or not this is the true Maria and the true developer behind Atropa, or maybe this is some sort of internet troll. I'm not really sure. I think it's a good thing just to proceed with caution, see what's up. So, all right, let's say we've got any questions. Oh, dang, we got a boatload of questions. So let's see. Okay, nice. So Pulsechain altcoin talk. Teddy just launched today in 414 Ape. Did you see this? I'm not really sure. I'll double check it. So cool. Dylan. Hey, Kris. Glad to be here. Still holding my teddy bear and pDAI strong bag. Good to see you, man. Always good to see you, Dylan. Shout out to Dylan. So cool. Awesome. So, all right, cool. So I'm just going to keep it moving. Now, here's another interesting thing that came across. So I want to cover some more of these tweets because I think these tweets are extremely useful, and then we'll get into what are some of these tokens and what's the purpose behind them. Now, this is a really interesting conversation between Maria and the community. So basically what this caption says is the system is creating price floors mimicking a fractional reserve, so at some point it'll be impossible to drop under $1 for pDAI. The question is when. So if you come over here, Maria says the token thus far represents the best of my capacity, a defined legal tender, complex financial instrument that satisfies all the requirements of the plays on money, including the fears associated with the absolute worst case scenarios. Maria says people keep did it all just go as you expected so far? Maria said people keep buying in, so the price go up and liquidity go back down. Passport Pal, based on what you learned so far, if you could go back and start again, what would you do differently? Maria said it's moving ahead pretty well on so far so good. The outlook is pretty fantastic. The certain parts of the system have already and are meant to go completely out of my control. And then we go down, we'd have a few questions. Would these parts of the system be contracts with burned LP? And then, so Maria said the crash last leak was related to liquidity going up with the fixed and specific ratios, which caused the boss to scrap profits and pull out. I hope it set the factual bottom for the tokens so far made available. It will literally be hard to drop further than what we just saw ever. So that's a lot to really talk about. Here, I'll basically explain what Maria's trying to get into because, you know, that there's a lot of information behind that, and I think I can break this down what's going on. So basically, here's what Maria is trying to talk about. So we have let's just do a black pen. So I'll say we have pDAI right here, right? So basically, we have pDAI, and how this all fundamentally comes down to are these liquidity pools that we keep talking about, right? So the main one is pDAI and Atropa. Now, if we move down, we have Atropa, and then we have the so Atropa is actually going to be paired with tsfi. And then we'll just put in one more, and then we'll get to the point of this. And then the last one is going to be Atropa, and then I'm pretty sure the other big one was Down. Down was a big pairing with Atropa as well. Bro, I pretty much know like this ecosystem like pretty solid. So she's talking about ratios and price floors. So Kris, what are you talking about? I'll tell you. So basically what we're starting to see is there's about 50% of the Atropa supply. I'm going to do this in a different color. So 50% of the Atropa supply, the pDAI supply is in an LP with Atropa. And then if I recall, I think of the amount of Atropa tokens being paired, it's somewhere between 50 and 60. So I think it's like 55%. Now, this massive LP is basically in a burn address. So it's going to be like 0x and then like a bunch of zeros, and people like to put it into like the 369, whatever. So this is all burnt, right? Now you have a pairing between pDAI and Atropa, and then the next one is you have a pairing between Atropa and down. And I think the pairing between this one, it's like 10%. And then of the down token, this is ballpark. You guys can check my numbers, but I think the down token is like 60% between Atropa. I'm not sure if these are correct, but I'll explain. When I get to the end of it, you'll understand what I'm talking about. And then if we come down here to this liquidity pool, we have, I think, we'll just say 10% here. And then I'm pretty sure the tsfi is a little bit lower. There's not much of a price correlation between Atropa. I think it's like something like 25%. Now, what does this price floor mean? So the idea is we got pDAI. It's going up in price, but people buy and sell, buy and sell, and buy and sell. How does pDAI main price? It's through these liquidity pools. So basically, when someone comes in and buys pDAI, they're going to start off with RapPulse. And then they're going to come into here and basically swap RapPulse for pDAI and then vice versa. Now, if they were to sell their pDAI for RapPulse, what happens is the price of pDAI in this liquidity pool goes down, which means the price of Atropa in this liquidity pool goes down, which means an arbitrage bot's going to start coming in and try to take Atropa from here and sell it across in the same way this way. Now, what's interesting is there's these different token ratios, and these different token ratios somehow impact the price of pDAI. And so what Maria is saying is she has a formula and a mathematical equation about the amount of tokens you need for each token and what it's paired up with. And essentially, when it comes to the Atropa ecosystem that everybody likes to say, there's no really special technology or special sauce. It's just a massive math equation and a bunch of computer nerds getting together and just making tokens. And so what Maria was doing was she was pairing up certain tokens at certain token amounts that can be used to impact the price of pDAI. And in my opinion, I think one of the most important tokens is tsfi, because somehow tsfi, if you look at it, is absorbing some of that buy and sell pressure based off of its token ratio amount. And Atropa is falling the price of pDAI, and then down is falling the price of pDAI as well. So that means down and Atropa has more exposure to pDAI in comparison to tsfi, which probably has a very small amount of exposure to Atropa. And so the point I'm trying to get across is you have a massive mathematical equation that's being used to stable the price of pDAI. And what the developers are doing is they're looking at how the price changes, and based off of how the price changes, they're adding new tokens to further adjust. Now, they had an issue because a lot of people bought in the other week, and then the bots start selling, and then they all exited, and that caused pDAI price to crash down. So that was like the big thing that Maria was talking about. But this is what Maria is getting into when she talks about a price floor across the board. So definitely really great stuff. So let's keep it moving because I don't want this to go over an hour. Now, coming over here, this is another interesting thing I saw about Maria, and I'm still trying to wrap my head around this, but let's just take a look at this. So, Maria, the second layer is a mathematical Parasite. And so remember when I told you guys just about mathematical? The LPs are just a math equation. There's no special technology that will look into the blockchain with core numerics to define the originating equations of a complex Big Bang-like origin. So the idea is you have these different pairings behind these tokens. The Big Bang-like origin is basically the flow of money coming into the ecosystem. Freedom tokens, lots of waves in the blockchain. So freedom tokens and Sunny, they like to talk about something called it's like chimatology wave theory, where you buy one token and then it starts selling across all the LPs and creates like a ripple effect across the blockchain. I went to school for wave mechanics, so I actually did study this, and they bring up some really great points. It gets into, this movement of money from one LP to another. And if you buy one massive LP pool, arbitrage bots are going to take that, sell into other pools, because the only thing arbitrage bots want to do is find opportunities to make money. And people just program it that way. They don't care what token it is. All they want to do is, make money off of arbitrage between pools. So, Maria, so far the definition of producing an equation that defines water has held true for long enough. I am beginning to consider it valid. So, basically, after Freedom Tokens came out, made that statement, all the stuff that we were talking about when it came to arbitrage pools and what the 414 wallet address has been doing, stuff that Sonny's been talking about, stuff that I've been talking about, Hodlnomics, Zach, Mewtwo, 900 Capital. This basically verifies that the way to stabilize the pDAI price is through liquidity pool calculations and also arbitrage bots. And that's the idea of how this is going to stabilize. Now, to really get into that theory and test that theory, if we come back to the pDAI chart, let's just take a look at what we've noticed so far. So since our initial run up, we'll say right here, we'll just say like right when everyone started getting in, we're about a 10x, and we hit a, what was that about? Oh wow, 36x. And so from that initial run up, we went down about 70%. So we're sitting at about 70%. What's interesting about all this is the sole fact that we had a massive run up and now we're going back down, and now we're trading sideways at what it seems to be the 0.0001 level. And so the reason why I say this is interesting, hold on, I get some water, is because we're trading that 0.001 level. It seems like Maria slash, I'll just call it Maria, is testing out the price to see if it can stabilize on that sell pressure. Because one day, if this becomes a stable coin, it has to stabilize at $1. So definitely a lot of really great stuff that's coming into, you know, what Maria's been talking about. And the interesting thing that I also found out about that I also want to mention is Maria was also talking about how this project was set up on another blockchain. I don't think it was Harmony 1, but basically what was being implemented, it was on another blockchain and they gave it a try. I think it was either Harmony 1 or I can't remember the blockchain, but I'll probably look back and tell you next live stream. And essentially they were waiting to implement this before, and they decided to implement on the Pulsechain. And so in my opinion, I think with the pDAI stuff, this thing goes a little bit bigger. It goes into like, you know, token parity. And I think that was the original goal in my opinion. So definitely really good stuff. All right. So cool. Let's see. I'm going to get into some questions real quick. And then we're going to talk about some of these tokens that Maria was talking about, saying what's their utility, because I think it would be really great. So cool. Cody, has anyone investigated to see if RH has someone in his life named Maria? That's a really good point. No, not yet, but I'll mention that. Vibra Finance, PTGC. Shout out to PTGC. June, what's the difference between Atropa and Atropa? All right, curious if I should get into Atropa. So Atropa is like an Atropa farm token. It's basically someone created like a farm for it. I do a little bit of yield farming. I did a little bit of like, you know, yield farming, and you know, that's basically what it is. It's yield farming with the Atropa token. In my opinion, I think just owning Atropa is the best, but you do what you need to do. DBZen, Pat and Teddy, I think its main pair is Teddy and PL's, right? I'm not sure. John Seltzer, Kris, are you saying that the LP tokens of pDAI and Atropa is burned so effectively the LP is renounced? Okay, so not the entire LP. So the reason why I'm saying that, so let me back up. We had the 414 wallet address take the pDAI token with the Atropa token, pair it up, and then burn into a burn wallet address. Wait, hold on. Let me think about that question. Sorry, you got me. So you're saying that because so much of it's been burned, it's basically renounced. Well, so Atropa is renounced, and then pDAI in and of itself is renounced. So you can't mint a bunch of these tokens. A lot of the LPs being burnt into that burn wallet address. So I guess technically you can say that. Dang, man. That was a good question, John. You got me thinking really hard, so I like that. C-Dot. pDAI might not be it, guys. I'm sorry. Well, it's doing all right. I mean, like I said, dude, this is all speculation. So, you know, that's what we've been doing ever since it started. So, But hey, man, that's how you feel. That's how you feel. All right. Now let's move on to stuff that you guys are going to be interested about. On top of what we're getting with the chat logs with Maria, which I'm going to continue to investigate, we got some pretty interesting things when it comes to what's going on with the overall ecosystem. So someone, so New2 came across and did a basically massive summary of all these tokens and basically put into a really cool Telegram group. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over some of these tokens, and it basically goes over what Maria said about them. So starting off with pDAI. Now, pDAI, this is stuff that Maria said. I expect the pDAI balance in the liquidity to drop significantly as pDAI goes to $1, but we will see. That's where I'm trying to understand the pDAI balance in. Ooh, why did I do that? The pDAI balance in liquidity. Let me do red. This is where I'm a little confused about this. The pDAI balance in the liquidity. Oh, so I guess it's thinking that more pDAI is going to be pulled out as people buy in for it. So it drops it down. Okay, so it's going to be less pDAI, but more like Atropa / Wrap Pulse. Okay, that makes sense. So the strength of the network relies on the strength of the stablecoins. If the Pulse stablecoins are tethered to moving assets, they're bound to go up. If those assets are liquidity locked, then it gets harder and harder for the Pulse stablecoins to go down anyway. So the argument is the reason why we have that locked liquidity is it makes it very difficult for the price of the token to go down, which is something we saw earlier. So I do believe that. I believe the P stablecoins are in a political limbo that we should see break as the SEC inquiry closes. So if you're into pDAI or whatnot, I would be paying special attention to the SEC lawsuit. Do I think well, let me back up. Maria's hinting that this is going to be a big event. If you're all about the Maria stuff, and you definitely want to keep your eyes on this. If you're not about it, you know, it's fine. It's not a big deal. I mean, I understand. Like I said, this is all speculation. We're just having fun. As I understand, the 3 Pulse stable assets are controlled by 3 distinct entities, which are DAI, USDC teams, and being more likely linked together with the USDT team being more tied to Bitcoin. So I'm not really understand this. Are they actually like working with people from the actual team? I mean, we got that transaction from pDAI in the beginning. I covered in the video. So I do believe that maybe USDC and USDT are coming in, but also USDT blacklisted Hex on the Ethereum blockchain. So I don't know if they would want to be doing work with anyone on Pulsechain. So I think it might just be one team doing all, but I just don't understand what they're saying right there. So 6, I chose DAI as the primary asset to lock liquidity with it because it vibes best with the project. The goal is to have a cushion versus crash as the stable tied asset and locked liquidity gain value that surpasses the investments. So the idea is the LPs that we're talking about, that's just going to be kind of like that cushion that 414 is talking about. Yeah, I'm just gonna call it 414, not Maria. I like 414 better. So that's basically like the cushion that we're going to start to see. So consider this third-party risk scenario. Imagine you have to exit a 1 billion in pDAI. You create your own asset, lock 50% of your new asset with 50% of your pDAI, and burn that LP. In my opinion, you create at that point a production quality asset that could be considered for pairing with the Atropa ecosystem. So I guess that's just adding value to the ecosystem. I think it's just describing what the Atropa wallet or the 414 wallet. And then number 9, I am budgeting mock-up stage. I'm looking to hire an artist. At that point, pDAI hits 1 to 2 cents. So what I like about what Maria said about pDAI is it talks about Pulse stables. It talks about what's going on. And, you know, all the stuff that we're talking about with USDT, USDC, all this other stuff, it's basically just verifies what's going on and what we originally thought. Now, USDC, USDT, I don't know about that. I'm pretty sure USDT blacklisted Hex on Ethereum, so I don't think the team would be working with us. Then USDC threatened to turn off stablecoins at the bridge. So that's where things get very interesting. So I don't think teams are going to be working with us. But what's really cool is when the wallet gets into Maria gets into a production quality asset, because if you go into the chat records, you're going to see this a lot. A production quality asset. And essentially what happened was the Form 4 wallet address has been doing this so that it adds value to pDAI. So definitely something really cool to look into. Now, let's look at the next screenshot. What did Maria say about RapBTC? The WBTC liquidities were added as a group effort. I'm waiting to see how that does. The WBTC liquidities were added as a coordinated group effort. I don't expect them to grow exponentially in the short term. So right now, what Maria's saying is this is an experiment. So they're probably trying to see what's going on with RapBTC. Now, this is one thing I agree with, because when I saw the LP pools between RapBTC and the rest of the ecosystem, I saw new tokens getting paired up, and it seems like they're trying to figure out a way to stabilize the price of RapBTC to see if it's possible. And so, in my opinion, I think RapBTC, this one is going to be the biggest PRC20 token sleeper right behind pDAI. And so I'm really glad they talked a little bit more about it. We need to get some more questions on this, because there's some interesting things going on with like Monet money and whatnot. So, all right, let's go to the next screenshot. And keep in mind, these are all from that Telegram chat, and it just summarizes anything that Maria said about each of these tokens. And I'm sure you guys want to know. Now, my favorite token, tsfi. I suggest checking the ownership, renouncement, liquidity positions, and top holders on each token. The profitable Easter egg is minting of the FPM. So that's First Pulse Mutual Bond token. This one minted like absolutely crazy. So I don't know what this means and how this pairs up with TSFI. And the recommended buy, in my opinion, is the TSFI token. I agree with that 1,000%. I think TSFI is going to be a big winner in this. The TSFI liquidities probably won't be extended without discussion in this channel. Okay, so I guess they don't want to talk about the liquidities with TSFI. TSFI is the asset I personally recommend because it's most likely to return the largest profit on the smallest short-term investment. So basically, what Maria's saying is this is going to be one that's going to run up, and this one has a lot of value. That's why I'm always screaming about TSFI, and you see B-Roots do the same thing. The Atropa token was initially divided into a hedge fund, TSFI. So hedge fund basically means you like bet against like the price of a token. Wait, actually that does kind of make sense, because it seems like sometimes the price of pDAI goes up and down. When it goes up and down, same with TSFI, it's going up and down. I could definitely see that. A work fund, laugh out loud. The savings account down. So apparently down's the savings account. Now what's interesting is if you take down, so if you just take DONW, if you move the D to the end, it says own D. And maybe that means own die or something. So maybe that's a way to say own die, and maybe that's the savings account. Like I said, this is speculation. I can't prove any of that. So, and then legal contract was set up as the initial non-mintable lock device. TSFI will see the buy/sell pressure exhausted first, in my opinion. Liquidity on TSFI is already very low. It will bubble soon. We haven't seen the low liquidity situation yet. I bet it can hit $100 before the end of the year. That is a crazy prediction right there. $100 before the end of the year. I'll tell you one thing. If TSFI hits $100 before the end of the year, a lot of people are going to start believing this Maria is connected to the main developer of Atropa. It'll happen quick. There's only about 1 million left in liquidity, so once those are bought up, every buy ups the price if no one adds more liquidity. Oh, so it's saying like in the liquidity pair in the burn wallet address, it's saying that more of those tokens get burnt up and it will cause the price to go up. Okay, I see what you're saying, Maria. So overall, this just confirms what I initially thought about TSFI. Cool. So let's move on to the next thing. Richard Hart. So this is a question I bet all you guys are asking about. I mentioned Richard Hart in my video, and all the Pulsechain maxis went crazy. So I'm gonna continue to talk about him in my pDAI live stream just because I like to. Richard Hart, if he shows up to Pulsechain, We will see him. He should show up. Excuse me. So basically, he was saying Richard Heart should show up eventually at some point. My expectation is that Richard wraps up the SEC stuff. It goes in favor, and we see a demonstrable stability in the Pulsechain network. The forces that will drive up prices across the board. RH hasn't scammed, so there's no reason for the SEC judgment to really prove overly harsh, but it will clarify a number of regulations, which this is actually a really great point. And afterwards, his plan will bound to move forward. It depends on what context of the ruling end up actually being. If it's clarification of the responsibilities of high-frequency traders with trades covering SEC oversight, then it's just a basic broad tax issue affecting all crypto. They aren't in a position to single out RH, but just use them as an example where they have something way out of control. Yeah, so this actually verifies all the stuff everyone in the community was saying. Like, they're using him as an example to pass regulation and basically try to get a big old W. That's basically the whole point of what we're seeing. So, are you in the contact with Richard Heart about this? I bet Richard Heart will show up. So, I don't know what that means, but basically that's probably one of the most cryptic responses I've ever seen. Next one. Do you know Richard Heart personally? I bet we'll see him in here soon. Wow. So basically what he's saying is, I bet we will see Richard Heart in the chat very soon. And then the last one you guys can't see, but I'll read it up. You say there are separate teams for PUSDC and PUSGT. Have you been in contact with them to coordinate with pDAI? I believe someone will show up in Pulsechain that can answer that better than me. So we got an interesting conversation here. So whoever is Maria is saying that Richard Hart's going to show up pretty soon, and there's some sort of connection behind PUSDC and USDT. The success and what happens to Pulsechain is going to be extremely reliant on what happens in this SEC lawsuit. So the one thing I want to get across is, if you believe this, please keep your eye on the SEC lawsuit. If you don't, I understand. It's kind of a weird scenario, but there are some really great connections behind all of this. Now, the one thing I want to go over with you guys really quickly. So I showed you guys like a chat about Maria when it came to some of the tokens not being mintable. Now, I want to tell you guys a little bit about a story. I think it was, let me see if I can find the token, the correct one. I literally thought I had it up here. Or did someone remove it? Huh. Well, I'd be darned. It's not up here. All right. Well, maybe I'll just leave it for another day. Yeah, we'll leave it for another day. All right. So let's talk a little bit more about some more of these other screenshots. Actually, let's answer some questions and we'll talk a little bit more. All right. So Tomo chain. Yes. So basically, what Khaos Kris and Steven was talking about, it was Tomo chain that they were trying to put this technology on. It wasn't Harmony One. So very good point. John Seltzer, is the RH SEC lawsuit currently proceeding? Does anyone know the status? So what's going on with RH right now is there's a meeting on November 28th. It's just going to talk about what the lawsuit's going to be, and then typically it proceeds to another court thereon after. And so this is a period of time where the lawyer can come out and request the judge to move to submittal, if to dismiss the case if they find some sort of like evidence that's tampering, I believe. Well, actually, no, it's not a criminal court. It's more of a... Actually, no, it is criminal court. I'm sorry. So basically, you're going to have your initial arguments, and in the first court case, you're just going to talk about what's going on with the lawsuit and bring both parties in, and then that's where they're going to talk. Sometimes you can cut a deal, or sometimes you guys just move on to the next court case. And so some people are speculating something could happen. Now, I stubbed my crypto. Thoughts on PLUSD? Man, that's a question. So here's the thing about PLUSD. You know, there is something going on with it, but you know, it's probably one of the most speculative assets out there, and I might do a live stream covering it later on. But essentially, the main point I'm trying to get across is, something's happening PL USD. I'll let you guys look at it, and we might see something come about it, or it might just be another project that stays on the Pulsechain and we don't see, and we have no idea what happened. So as to when I want to release that information, it's going to be soon, but I don't want to do it on this specific live stream because there's a lot of things behind it, and and I'll just keep it at that. So Crypto Donor, what's up with the 666 coins? So Maria basically puts out those 666 coins, and it gets into what happened with CIA. So the CIA price went up, and it started going up. It started skyrocketing, and then it crashed down. And what happened was a bunch of CIA tokens were minted. Now, Maria said in the chat with the 666 tokens, you should not touch those tokens whatsoever. It actually said, it blatantly said, please do not touch these tokens. And the funny part about it is all the degens came in and started touching the tokens, buying them up, and got absolutely wrecked. So the point of the 666 tokens, that's like a sign to not touch it. It's a mintable token. The idea is, I actually don't even know why we have the mintable tokens. I still can't wrap my head around it. There's probably some other purpose that's above my head. I'm not really sure. But I would stay far away from anything with a 666 token in it. Some people are still speculating. So cool. All right, so let's do one more reading, and then we'll call it good. So let's see. Oh, actually, wait. I got it right here. Someone asked me a question about the 666 token. I actually have it right here, so you're in luck. So what's the deal with 666? The 666 is to strike a deal all the bad investing concept ways. The assets with 666 tokens obviously are also as little controlled. Over the long term, there may or may not be some competition to be a holder of any of the tokens with 666 distribution. They are not intended to be such good things. So literally, Maria tells you right here. They are not intended to be good things. Right there. There you go. I don't suggest buying anything with a token name you're not fluent with. I think if production is defined simply as not rejected in this period, it's for collecting the reasons for the rejecting platform. The 666 tokens are intended to cast a number of those reasons for the X, the rejectors highly invested in one of the 666. It is not compatible with our composure. All right, so this is where I just don't understand it. But long story short, if you see 666 on one of these token supplies, do not buy it. If you want to be a degen or whatever, that is completely fine. But this is a number. It basically tells you we're not going to do it, and they're testing something. I don't know what it is. So to answer your question, this is all the stuff that Maria was talking about. Now, moving on. Let's see. What's the other one we talk about? Let's talk about Monet Money. This is actually a really popular one. So what is Monet Money? The Monet Money token has the most aggressive ownership in terms of robotic purchasing. So when they say robotic purchasing, basically this is talking about bots right here, bots of the asset. It is the least controlled asset in terms of all primary contracts written thus far. The Monet Money token was released explicitly to be distributed to buy robots. So the reason why it's saying buy robots, it's basically talking about the arbitrage bots. Monet Money was designed so that more arbitrage bots would come in and start arbitraging across it. So to buy robots that were active in the system at the time. The crash last week targeted and was caused by the same robots. It was also to look at these other arbitrage bots. All right, cool. So I'm interested in the input for who put the icon on that one. So basically, someone put up the Benjamin Franklin's with the M's on the eyes, and 404 wallet address was asking who did that. So, hey guys, if you did it, you should definitely go talk to Maria. The DEX leaderboard approach viewing with all assets they're doing in the ecosystem as a whole is good for wealth building, but there's a second tier ownership that we don't have perspective on at all. I hope to see the use case and observations fractured that will help with designing a client interface to make them more interesting. So there's second tier ownership. I'm not really sure what this means right here, but this could be something like First Pulse Mutual Bond, where like you put tokens into it and the tokens are held, and it's kind of like a bond token that if you own a portion of those assets, but I'm not really sure. All right. And then what's your idea on CIA and Monet Money? Besides Teddy, they currently seem to be the top performing tokens in terms of community building. Please take a look at the liquidities and top holders on any coin before gauging profit potential. That's designed to set up a whole outlook. The profit potential for jumping into a token with a lot of locked liquidities of other tokens likely to go up in value and a very low number of holders at all is literally most likely to return the best profit on a random buy. So basically what Maria is saying right here is you want to look for the tokens with a lot of locked liquidities. So that's going to be like tsfi, down, and Atropa. That's basically what Maria is saying. These have the highest locked liquidities. tsfi, down, and Atropa. Of other tokens likely to go up in value, very low number of holders, and is literally most likely the best return on a random buy. So that's kind of like a little bit of a breakdown. All right, cool, guys. Well, I think we covered enough of the Maria stuff. I'll definitely do another live stream. We'll cover some more about it later. Also get into some altcoins. So let's see if we got any more questions and see what's up. Kris, I am not really understanding why pDAI and Atropa have dropped in price materially as of earlier today in light of the idea that the Atropa system is supposed to be able to prevent that. John, so if we take a look at, how pDAI was going down, it went down by 70%, but the drop didn't go down to its initial level. Most of these altcoins, believe it or not, they go up and then they crash back down. And this is like, originally it started off as a meme coin, but it started gaining value. And so the point is, we had a 70% drop from the top of pDAI. We haven't seen anything like that from a massive run up. pDAI went up 300x and it dropped 70%. Name another coin on Pulsechain that did that same exact figure. Up 300x, down 70%. There's not many you can do that. And so think of it with Hex. Hex went up 10,000x and it dropped 99%. But even in that 99% drop, it's still up significantly in compared to its bottom when it first launched. And so the point I'm trying to get across is even if pDAI is going down, same with Atropa, it's maintaining some sort of monetary value as it starts to stabilize, because all it's been doing is been trading between 0.0008 and 0.00012. And so it's been oscillating since then. So that's the point I'm trying to get across. Crypto down under. Moned, it was all community founded, but one paid most. Awesome. SA Hexdu, thanks for discussing pDAI. Super interesting. Yeah, man. Shout out to you, SA Hexdu. So definitely really good stuff. All right, guys. Well, we're hitting at an hour. I just want to say, guys, thank you so much for viewing my live stream. If you guys want me to do another video on the Atropa ecosystem, consider going over there and hitting likes. If I get 500 likes, I will do an Atropa video. It's going to be a banger. It's going to be awesome. And so before I wrap this video up, smash that like button, hit the subscribe button, turn on bell notifications so I keep you guys updated with the latest, greatest news and information in the space. My name is Khaos Kris. I love every single one of you guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace out, guys.